In the glittering heart of Seattle, where skyscrapers cast shadows over rain-slicked streets, a chance encounter would unravel a past buried by time and privilege. Elise Harper, a tech heiress draped in designer silk, stepped out of her chauffeured car, her world of wealth untouchable, until she locked eyes with a homeless man whose familiar face shattered her composure. Once her first love, now a stranger on the street, his presence would force Elise to confront a truth she'd fled years ago, sparking a moment of redemption that would change them both forever. The rain fell in a steady drizzle over Seattle's downtown on July 15, 2025, painting the streets with a glossy sheen. Elise Harper, 29, stepped out of a sleek black SUV, her stilettos clicking against the pavement. Her tailored coat, a soft cream that matched her manicured nails, shielded her from the damp. As the heiress to Harper Tech, a cybersecurity firm, her father built into a billion-dollar empire. Elise lived a life of curated perfection, penthouse parties, charity galas, and a curated Instagram feed with 500,000 followers. Tonight, she was headed to a gala at the Chihuly Garden and Glass, a fundraiser for a women's shelter she'd championed. As her driver held an umbrella over her, Elise's gaze drifted to a street corner near Pike Place Market. A small crowd shuffled past a man huddled under a tattered tarp, his cardboard sign reading, "Anything helps." His beard was unkempt, his jacket threadbare, but something about his posture, the way he tilted his head, stopped Elise cold. She squinted. Through the rain, her heart lurching as recognition hit. It was Jonah Red, her high school sweetheart, the boy she'd loved fiercely at 17 before their worlds diverged. "Miss Harper, we should go," her driver, Marcus, urged. But Elise waved him off, her eyes locked on Jonah, 12 years ago. They'd been inseparable, sneaking kisses behind the bleachers, dreaming of a future beyond Seattle's gray skies. But Elise's ambition and her father's expectations pulled her towards Stanford, while Jonah, a talented musician from a struggling family, stayed behind. Their breakup was messy, fueled by her departure and his pride. She hadn't seen him since. Now, Jonah sat on the sidewalk, his guitar case open but empty, save for a few coins. Elise's breath caught. She approached, her heels loud against the wet pavement. "Jonah?" she said, her voice trembling. He looked up, his hazel eyes clouded with fatigue but unmistakably his. For a moment, recognition flickered, then his face hardened. "Elise," he said, his voice rough. "What do you want?" Elise crouched beside him, ignoring the damp seeping into her coat. "What happened to you?" she asked, her voice soft but urgent. The question hung between them, heavy with years of unspoken history. Jonah's laugh was bitter. "Life happened. Not all of us got a golden ticket," he gestured to her coat, her jewelry. "You're doing fine, though. Tech princess, right?" Elise flinched. She remembered Jonah's dreams, playing gigs at local bars, writing songs that made her cry. But his mother's illness, his father's absence, had weighed him down. After their breakup, she'd heard he'd dropped out of college, but she'd been too caught up in her own world to check on him. Guilt twisted in her chest. "I didn't know," she said, her voice breaking. "I would have helped." "Helped?" Jonah's eyes flashed. "You left, Elise. You didn't look back. Don't pretend you care now." He turned away, adjusting his tarp as if to dismiss her. Elise's throat tightened. She wanted to argue, to say she'd had no choice, but the truth was she'd chosen her path: Stanford, Harper Tech, a life of privilege. She stood, rain streaking her face, and reached into her purse. "Let me give you something," she said, pulling out a wad of cash. Jonah's jaw clenched. "I don't need your pity," he snapped, pushing the money away. "Go back to your gala, Elise, leave me alone." Marcus, sensing the tension, stepped closer. "Miss Harper, we're late." Elise nodded, her eyes lingering on Jonah. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Turning back to the SUV, as Marcus drove away, she watched Jonah in the side mirror. A ghost from her past fading into the rain. The gala at Chihuly Garden and Glass was a spectacle of wealth crystal chandeliers, glass sculptures glinting like jewels, and champagne flowing freely. Elise, in a sapphire gown, smiled for photos, her speech about the women's shelter, polished and heartfelt. But Jonah's face haunted her, his words echoing, "You didn't look back." She excused herself mid-conversation, retreating to a quiet corner to check her phone on a whim. She searched Jonah's name on X-old posts, surfaced clips of him playing guitar at open mics, a crowdfunding page for his mother's medical bills. Then nothing after 2019. A recent post from a Seattle homeless advocacy group mentioned a Jonah R. performing at a shelter event, his music lifting spirits. Elise's heart ached. He was still out there, creating, despite everything. She couldn't shake the image of him on the street. Leaving the gala early, she called her assistant Priya. "Find me a contact at the Unity shelter," she said. "I need to do something." The next morning, Elise visited the Unity shelter, a brick building tucked behind a soup kitchen. The director, Carla, a no-nonsense woman with a warm smile, welcomed her. "We don't get many tech heiresses here," Carla said, guiding her through the crowded common room. "What brings you?" "I met someone," Elise said, her voice low. "Jonah Ridd, he's someone I used to know. I want to help him." Carla nodded, recognizing the name. "Jonah's a regular. Talented guy, but stubborn? Won't take handouts unless he earns them." She explained Jonah's story, his mother's death, a spiral of debt, addiction, and homelessness. He'd been clean for a year, playing music at the shelter, but pride kept him from accepting help. Elise's guilt deepened. She offered to fund a music program at the shelter with Jonah as a lead instructor, but Carla warned her, "He won't trust it if it comes from you. Let me talk to him." That evening, Carla found Jonah at his usual spot near Pike Place. "Someone wants to fund a music program here," she said, keeping Elise's name out of it. "You'd teach, play, maybe record." "Interested?" Jonah's eyes narrowed. "Who's paying?" he asked. Carla shrugged. "Anonymous donor." "Point is, it's a chance." Jonah hesitated, then nodded. "I'll think about it." A week later, Elise attended the shelter's music night, her presence unannounced. In the common room was packed residents. Volunteers and a few local reporters invited by Carla. Jonah stood on a makeshift stage. His guitar worn but tuned, his voice raw and soulful as he sang a ballad about lost roads and second chances. Elise's eyes stung. Remembering the boy who'd serenaded her under Seattle's stars, after the performance, Carla introduced them. Jonah froze, his guitar case in hand. "You did this?" he asked, his voice tight. Elise nodded, her heart pounding. "I wanted to help, Jonah, not pity, respect. Your music deserves to be heard." Jonah's shoulders slumped, his anger softening. "I was wrong to snap at you," he said. I didn't want to be your charity case." Elise shook her head. "You're not. You're someone I never stopped caring about." They talked for hours, the shelter emptying around them. Jonah shared his struggles, grief, addiction, the streets. Elise admitted her guilt, her blindness to his pain. "I should have looked back," she said. Jonah's smile was faint but genuine. "You're here now." Jonah accepted the teaching role, his music classes at the shelter drawing crowds. Elise funded recording equipment, and his first EP, Rain on the Road, gained traction online, shared by Seattle's indie music scene. He moved into transitional housing, his pride intact. His future brighter. Elise, inspired, launched a HarperTech initiative to support homeless artists, with Jonah as an advisor. Their friendship rekindled, not as lovers but as allies. They passed the bridge to something new. In Seattle's rain-soaked streets where privilege and pain collided, Elise and Jonah found redemption not in wealth or pity, but in the quiet power of second chances.